Okay, guys, welcome to Houdini interface. Okay, Houdini interface is very simple to get around. In a few minutes, you'll find out that it's so easy. Right now, I have the camera activated and I can use just the mouse without holding the alt and just tumble around. Okay, hold down the middle mouse and pound around. I can zoom in by, using the middle mouse. Zoom out and zoom in. Pretty easy stuff. All right. So the camera is activated right now. So only the camera is working. None of the tools is activated. But if I'm working and I'm on a tool, I have to hold down the alt. Look here, you see the selection. If I hold down the alt, it disabled. All the tools will be disabled because the alt is down. It means I want to work on the camera. So whilst you are working, you want to tumble and look around like I'm doing, zoom in, zoom out. You have to hold the alt down. Pretty simple. Okay. And up here is the file system, the regular stuff. You create new, open and recent, save and save as basic, edit, render stuff. Now let's see all these stuff around here. They are very organized stuff. If we click on a tab, it shows you what is inside this shelf. Every tab is a shelf. So if we go on the create shelf, we click on the create menu, we have all the stuff that will allow us to create something. We want to modify something, we click on the modify, we have stuff to modify. We can combine, extract, mirror, copy to a point, duplicate. These are all modification. All right. Model. We can resolve, loft, scan. These are all creating tools. Topo build, shutter, edit and visibility, grouping, which will do a lot, so very simple stuff, so you have time, just click on each tab. All right, like create, modify, and see what each tab contains. We'll be working on the texture sometimes because we will do, UV and create some cool stuff for the bike. We have rigging, which allow you to create skeleton and when you are doing character. This character, we will go through skeleton system. Okay, very cool. So that is how this stuff out here is. Not scary at all. You can drag it out and push stuff out. So to the right side here are most of the stuff for visual effects. But under this first tab, we have some stuff that we would need too. We would need a camera from here, spotlight, you know, environment to create skylight, if not because we have this OpenGL system that I have for my viewport, we will be using a lot of lights and, all kind of cameras, but we have already set up a digital access that give us this look, which I will show you in another class. So let's quickly see what other stuff that are important to us right now. Up here is the selection stuff. Okay. This side is where we will, basically be because the move is here, rotate, scale, and the snapping, and the selection, which is very popular because we'll be jumping into different selection. You come up here, we have the type of view you'll be in. I can set this perspective view to a different one. I can set it to top, front, right, and UV. Okay. So let's do that. Let's set it to UV. See, so we have the UV window. All your UVs will occupy this area. Very simple stuff. So let's go back to perspective. Set to perspective. See, so very simple stuff. Next to it is your camera. All the cameras you set, you can jump into them, create new ones and stuff like that. Very simple. On the right side, right here, is where you pick all these type of shading. See, very cool. If this is what you like to work on, pretty easy stuff. Different types of shading you can pick. All right, very cool stuff. So that is the breakdown on, you know, get around the tools. So for example, if my mouse come over a tool or a menu, there's a tooltip telling me what that tool is. So right now it's saying display point numbers. Let's click on it. See all the points on each object is showing. See all the points. So if we zoom in on the head, you can see how dense it is, because this side is really hard surface, and each point, as we use the subdivision, each point is showing. So this point, I can read it, is 7,720. That is that point number. So it's very dense, and Houdini allow you to look at all these things. So as we are working, you will see how useful these points can help you. So let's turn it off, and most of the stuff you can go over it and see how they are. Pretty cool stuff. So where is the default Houdini interface? Okay, let's find out. My mouse is here. If I come to the camera, whilst my mouse are over here, I can hit Control B. And now we see the default Houdini interface. If you want to see where we were right now, before we jump back here, my mouse is here, the same thing, Control B, and you have the wide screen. Pretty easy. Let's go back. Okay, down here is the timeline. That is where we will do the animation, and you play whatever animation you have on your project. Okay, we will touch that. So pretty basic stuff. All right. What we are doing is modeling. So specifically, we will be inside here at the viewport, right, where we could change stuff like wireframe and look at how things are looking, smooth shading with wireframe. So we are interested mostly in the viewport. But next to it is the animation tab, which allow you to, when we go deep in animation, this is where you will be. But this course, we will do animation, the skeleton. Next is the render. Because we have this OpenGL system for our system, we will probably be doing a lot of rendering. But this allow us to get nice look, so we are not worried too much about render. But this is where you'll be for rendering. Click here, you start rendering. You can pick different type of rendering you have for your system. So this is where you will be for rendering. Got composition. This is where you'll be. Motion effects and geometry spreadsheet. See, all these numbers is when you get deep in digital assets and procedure. These numbers will help you to, to work. This is where we will be. All right. So if my mouse comes here to the intersection or where two windows are meeting, you can drag them and push them aside. If you want this side to be bigger, just drag and push. All right. Very simple. You can close them down. Come over these little arrows, close them down or open them back up. Okay. The same on each corner too. This opens the scene view for us. Okay. You can see that under the material, we have a lot of material. So let's go look at the materials we have. A lot of them under the material palette. And we have Houdini install materials where you grab them from here and drop them here. Or you could drag them and drop them on the object you want to change. All right. So you click on that little arrow, it will close it. You click it, you open it back. So the scene is breakdown. When you create an object, it comes here. You see all these objects I have created, making up the bike. They are all here. So each one, any little things, how they break down are still following. So it's like a chain. All right. So that is object stuff, out stuff for rendering. Okay. So the default render for Houdini is Mentora, and it's very cool. And that is when you come to the render menu, that is the default. Okay. So the images are comp. That is when you dash composition, and that is when you come to where the composition view. Very simple stuff. So let's close this little scene. Let's go back to where we are interested. Now, if we come here, let's blow that big. My mouse is here. I can hit Control B. That is the network view. Okay. So this is where stuff that we create will be. Very simple. And we are the object level. So let's go back. So pretty cool stuff and simple. We will have a class where we will create an object, and we will work on our first model. We will create something before we jump modeling this bike. Okay. So that is how the interface is. Very simple. So over here is the camera and stuff, visual effects, property views, network, and then, the stuff that we need. If you want to create something or bring something from outside to Houdini, you have to come here to the object level and use the tab or right click inside here and go for Geo. Just type Geo. G. See, you have a geometry and you drop it. Okay. If you double click and we go inside, you can call for a file because you are going for a file from your computer, and then type F for file, then grab file and drop it. So you have a file system. Houdini will allow you to bring in a file from your computer. So if we look here, I have default geo. That is what Houdini gives you. You can work on this geometry right here. It's a default one. If you want something from your computer, you go here and you grab whatever you want from your computer. If you already have something previous, you drop down here, they will be here. Okay, and you can grab them and Control B to where we was. So that is about it. Houdini interface is very simple.